Hello and welcome to the ScatterVolt channel, and today, this isn't going to be your average GTX 1060 review. Being a budget-focused PC gaming channel, based off of all the reviews and benchmarks that have come out for the GTX 1060, I thought I'd bring you guys the word over what graphics card is going to be worth your money more, the GTX 1060 or the RX 480. So, let's get into the video. So, the GTX 1060 is Nvidia's brand new 1000 series graphics card, targeting towards the $200 price range, while AMD's new RX 480 is the same sort of card that is pricing towards that same price range, but it's $50 less, only being priced at $200. So, either way, both cards have their pros and cons when it comes to their gaming performance and their overall features and specifications, but we'll talk about that right now. So, let's talk about performance. So, the GTX 1060 all around right now is a faster card, especially when it comes to DirectX 11 games, which is what most games right now are being based off of in terms of their graphics technology. So all around, the GTX 1060 is a faster card, but the RX 480 is not that far behind actually when it comes to those games. It puts up a pretty good fight for only $50 less. But I will note that in DirectX 12 games, the RX 480 still manages actually to pull out ahead over the GTX 1060, which is a surprising thing, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Now, in terms of VR gaming performance, the GTX 1060 obviously wins this category. The RX 480 puts up a good fight, but the GTX 1060 is the faster card, especially when you put it on Steam's VR benchmarking tool. Now, how about high resolution gaming, more specifically 4K gaming? Well, even if you compare the 8GB version of the RX 480 against the GTX 1060, even though the 1060 still has 2GB less of VRAM when you compare it to the 8GB model of the 480, the 1060 still manages to pull out ahead just due to its better overall gaming performance, especially in 4K supported titles. So in terms of performance, the GTX 1060 still manages to be the better card, especially when it comes to DirectX 11 games, but in DirectX 12 games, it's a bit of a different story, as the RX 480 actually is a bit of a faster card when it comes to those games. Anyways, though, let's talk about some of the notable features, specifications, and prices for these cards, and what really makes or breaks them for being your next graphics card. So first off, the GTX 1060 is $50 more expensive than the RX 480, and that's just a simple $50 difference. It may not seem like a lot, but to some budget PC users who are really tight of money, that $50 difference could mean a lot. Now, for some of the notable specifications that are on these graphics cards, is that the GTX 1060 is 30 watts less, which means it'll be running quieter and cooler than the RX 480, which requires 30 watts more, and that card is a bit hot and runs a little bit loud, especially when compared to its reference design. Now, a downside to the GTX 1060 is that there is no SLI, which is a bit of a downside if you consider the price of the card. For only $250, this card can't support SLI, while its competitor, the RX 480, for $50 less, can support a crossfire setup, which is very surprising, and obviously it is a good thing to see, because if you did want to upgrade your GPU setup in the future, if you had an RX 480, it's two cards, it's only going to cost you about $200 to slap on another really well performing card to get that extra performance, while in the GTX 1060 that isn't the case. And that might not be a problem for all PC users, because usually most PC users stay to a single card, but if you did want to upgrade the performance of your PC, SLI isn't available on the 1060. So we boiled down to the final question: which graphics card is going to be worth your money more? Go with the GTX 1060 if you're going to be doing any sort of media productivity. So if that requires you to record games, render any sort of footage, or create media content, then go with the 1060. With its CUDA cores, it'll massively benefit when it comes to editing software and rendering your videos, or doing any other sort of media productivity like that. And especially when it comes to recording games, Shadowplay is an amazing feature only exclusive to Nvidia cards, and pretty much allows you to record your game with no sort of frame rate drops, which is really handy for you YouTube gamers who want to post your content to YouTube. Also, get this graphics card if you just want a faster graphics card right now and you don't plan to go with a multi GPU setup in the future. In that case, the 1060 is perfect for you. However, go with the RX 480 if you can't exactly afford the 1060 and you can't really make the jump of that extra $50 to afford it, but you still want something that is very solid and very well performing. And finally, if you did want to pursue a multi-GPU setup for only $200, then get the RX 480. You can easily slap another RX 480 in your gaming PC if your motherboard can support it for only $200, which is a great value. Also, get the RX 480 if you want a graphics card that'll last you a long time, or if you're planning to stick this graphics card into a long-term long-term gaming PC, since it does outperform the GTX 1060 when it comes to DX12 gaming performance. Anyways though, thank you so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and all that, and this is the ScatterVolt channel signing out.